When Brad Culp was a student at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, there was a rumor that the town was one of the most haunted places in America. As the story goes, many decades ago, probably sometime in the 1940s, there was a young man courting a young woman in a rural part of town. Because the woman's parents didn't approve of the match, each night he visited under the cover of darkness. After her parents went to bed, the young woman would sneak out of her farmhouse and flash the lights off her parents' car 3 times. Then her young suitor would ride his motorcycle down the road. One night took the turn right before her house a little too sharp, says Culp. The motorcycle went one way. He went the other. His injuries were so severe that he did not survive. Rumor has it, however, that his love-struck ghost still haunts this stretch of Milford Road. Curious, Culp, his girlfriend, and a friend decided to head out there one night to see if they could verify the tale. His girlfriend was worried she'd be completely freaked out. She believes more in that stuff than I do, Culp says, but he was mostly concerned that his suspicions that none of this was actually true would be confirmed. On this particular night, as Culp passed the abandoned farm, an idea came to him, and he pitched it to his girlfriend. Though reluctant, she relented, and Culp turned a short way into the farmhouse driveway. He killed the engine and flashed his lights 3 times. No joke, there was a single headlight that appeared 3/4 of a mile down the road, Culp says. You saw it start to come, going pretty slow. It kept coming and coming. My wife was freaking out. It was coming closer and closer, as a collision seemed imminent. Culp turned on his car's lights. He expected to see a kid on a bike, bailing out from his prank now that he'd been caught. But there's nothing there. The light is just gone, he says. They got out of the car. They walked around, trying to figure out what it was they could have seen. To this day, we still talk about it. I saw something I cannot explain, he says. My husband and I live in a small, unincorporated town on the outskirts of a bigger city. Although we are almost 50 years old, we are 30 to 40 years younger than any of our near neighbors. With no bus service in our rural area, and cabs from town, and expensive long wherever they need to go. I ended up driving him to doctors. For the man. The professor had been in the U.S. since his 20s, his wife, but he still retained a charming foreign accent. I only knew her briefly. He pronounced the professor were one of those life goals kind of couples. He would say good afternoon, Anna. They were both so he would call in the wee hours and clearly still deeply gasp on Anna. I would drop the phone and run to his house to help him with his meds. He had been battling the city's emergency room. He was adamant about not staying away from home. He knew the end was near and he wanted to go in his own bed. On October 1st, at almost 4 a.m., my cell phone rang, showing the professor's number. When I answered, a strange voice asked, Anna. Yes, I answered. Professor? No. The voice giggled. This is Maria. I'm taking him tonight. Then I woke up. I was sitting up in bed, with the phone in my hand. My husband and our dog were sleeping soundly, so the phone hadn't really rung, or had it. I started to call the professor, but if he was managing to get some sleep, I didn't want to disturb him. So I got up and dressed quietly, and the dog and I slipped out to the backyard. I could see the professor's house from there. No lights were on, and everything was quiet. I wasn't comfortable though, so I went ahead and dialed. 25 rings, no answer. Damn, I knew then. I went back in and woke my husband. We walked to the house and knocked. Nothing. We had to phone the sheriffs. They broke in. The professor had died seemingly peacefully in bed. Because of our unincorporated location, any of the chores which would fall to professionals in an urban area are taken up by neighbors here. So, that evening, with the deputy's supervision, the families on our block began to sort through the professor's papers. We needed the deed to his burial plot and any kind of will or link to distant relations. I looked through a small scrapbook of old photos that was on his nightstand. There was no cousin Marco from the old country, or nephew Bob, NYC 1997. It was mostly pictures of Elena and the professor. And their never spoken of young daughter Maria, who had died in Oaxaca in 1971.